Hi guys. I know you guys are probably going, oh my god, another vid post, really? Oh my god. But this is one of those things where you can't just go, I'm just going to put this in a text, okay, and it'll be completely understandable. Because I'm quite sure I still don't understand it myself. Okay, first things first, I didn't get shit done today. I didn't get shit done today. I went to work and I got my ass kicked and I just did not get shit done. I managed to accomplish coming home and like hanging out with hubby for a little bit before going to pick up the kids. Then I went and ran errands and came home. I mean, that was it. The collections agency and my follow-up call with Medicaid, now that my pay stubs have been processed, is all going to happen on Monday. Just actually Tuesday. Forgot Monday's Labor Day, so just it can wait until then. Didn't get any exercise done today. I got my ass handed to me thoroughly at work. I really did. Just nonstop from the beginning of the day until the end. But for all that, it was actually a pretty good day. It really was. I had a bit of a hitch though later in the day. A police officer knocked on my door at 7 o'clock at night, and it is so bizarre. It was one of those things where I was like, what just happened? And I'll just go ahead and I'll let you know. A police officer came and knocked on my door because I told the kid, I'll talk to your parents. He told his dad that I threatened him. Needless to say, the police officer, when he walked away, I didn't get a lecture on how we talk to kids. I didn't get a lecture on being abusive. I didn't get a lecture on any of that. And it's probably because the cop took one whiff and went, okay, this whole thing's bullshit. Because that's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. It was bullshit. A little bit of background. The gentleman who called the cops on me is the brother of R. I'm pretty sure some of you remember who R is. R was a friend of ours we've known for the last, just about a decade. Almost a decade. Where 2 years ago, he decided to steal money from us. He never paid it back. And he couldn't even seem to come face to face with me. So he just he's one of our toxic set that actually stepped out himself. He went this way. He didn't bother to come back. He was not the greatest guy in the world. He could be a pretty good friend, but he was not the greatest guy in the world. But I will say this. The guy is good with kids, and even he doesn't like his nephews. I think he's just one of those that he'd hang out with us, I think, mostly because of our kids. He is so good with kids. Kids adore him, and he adores kids, and it's just evident in everything he does. He is so good with them. Not a great guy, really awesome with kids. And even he has problems with his nephews, which the guy who was standing behind the police officer was his brother. To give a bit of context, let you know what's going on here. These two children and my two children have had problems the last couple of years. I'm pretty sure some of you remember last year Ronan tried to befriend a bully. And he honestly thought this bully would be his friend. And I told him he could try. There was a good chance that he might stop being a bully. But it was a very, very small chance. And to not be surprised if he reverted back to his ways. Sure enough, that's what happened, and my kid was heartbroken and angry, and the bully that he befriended was the youngest nephew of R. The youngest is more aggressive. He is more just violent in every way you can think of. He's loud. He's physical. And from what I can gather, he's been suspended a couple of times from school for bad behavior, both for bullying and for lying, talking back to teachers, that type of thing. Unfortunately, R's brother is not the type who wants to hear this. he has, I guess, come to the conclusion that everybody else is the problem. His kids aren't a problem because they aren't a problem when they're home. They don't dare to be, but they aren't a problem when they're home. They're not a problem when they're with their grandmother because their household doesn't tolerate that. But the second that the parents and grandma are not there, they act up. They do this every day and have done so for the last 4 years at the bus stop. No parent around, no grandma around. Let's shout fucking motherfucker in a crowd of 5 to 10-year-olds, push other people, get in their faces. Nobody's going to do anything about it. And no, nobody does. Needless to say, the last year, after Ronan tried to befriend this child, and it failed miserably, my response has been, every time they got near, go away. If they try to talk to me, be quiet and go away. We have no interest in you. You can go away now. Exactly like that. So these are the type of children we're dealing with. My children can be a handful, but my children are rather a bit of the honest sort. If they're going to do something wrong, you pretty much know about it because they'll do it in front of you. I mean, they can be aggressive to each other, but not overly so. I mean, it's more the thumping, wrestling, roughhousing type of thing that little boys do until one of them shouts, ow, and I have to go investigate and find out who thumped who by accident. But these kids are just, like I said, to the point of being suspended. Well, today was interesting before the police officer knocked on my door, though it never really imprinted on me until the police officer was actually there. My eldest gets off his bus first. Now, the eldest of R's nephews now goes to middle school. I no longer have to deal with that kid. He's not the worst of the two, but I no longer have to deal with the eldest. He's an instigator. He's not the type to be loud and aggressive and pushy, but he likes to start things. I no longer have to deal with him. He's in middle school, completely different bus, completely different school. I don't have to deal with him anymore. Well, my eldest gets off the bus. His bus always arrives first. He sat down next to me. He started chattering at me about something. And the youngest of R's nephews starts to walk by, and he shouts something at me. He hears something about Ronan and pushing and ass kicking. And I'm like, okay, what? Number one, why is this kid talking to me? Number two, why is he shouting at me? Number three, why does he think he's funny? And number four, why is he talking to me? So I went, what? And he was like, I kicked Ronan's ass and I pushed him down over there in the morning and nobody cared. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll talk to your parents. The kid like stopped and went, what? Guess it's a day of whats. And I was like, I guess it's time for me to talk to your dad then. And he and his little gaggle of friends moved off. I don't think anything of it. I carry on with my day. I'm so used to these kids being a headache and a bother, and for some reason they like to come up and bother me or bother my husband, and our usual response is, be quiet, go away. You go over there, we'll stay over here. Go away. Because we just don't want to deal with them. I mean, they can't be controlled. It's not our job to do so. Go away. Here it is. I hear this knock on the glass. Now, anybody who comes to our house, if they don't know us, they knock at the front door. We don't open that front door. We never have. We usually instruct people to go around to the back. So we figured this is somebody who knows us. My first thought is, did one of the neighbors get hurt? Is this one of my ex-toxic friends showing up? Great, how am I going to handle that? I mean, just a number of things ran through my head. And when I saw the police officer standing on the other side of my glass, the only thing I could think was, did something happen to the neighbors? Did something happen to my mom? Did something happen to my sister? Why is he knocking at my back door? I even see R's brother standing in the background, and then the next thing that ran through my head is, what happened to R? Did something happen to R and his mother? What's going on? I open up the door, the police officer is like, "Hello, ma'am," and I'm like, "Hello, sir, what can I do for you?" And he informs me that supposedly I threatened this guy's kid. It's a day of what? I went, what? Meanwhile, I'm trying to like corral two little kids and a kitten who's trying to get out the door. And this is already a headache. I can already feel the headache coming on. So the officer asked me what happened at the bus stop, and I told him. And he was like, "Is your kid home? Is your eldest home?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm like, "Rona, go talk to the nice police officer while I try to put this kitten up." Put the kitten in, in the bedroom. It didn't work. I mean, eventually I had to lock him in the bathroom, which means I had to step away a second time. I probably looked like a complete and total lunatic, trying to corral two kids, one of whom, the youngest, is running around in his underwear and stepping outside his underwear. I'm like, oh my god. Well, don't we look nice and ghetto over here? Trying to corral two kids and a kitten. Eldest cat's taken off, I don't know where. I already know we look crazy. I already know this. So Ronan told him that, the other kid, the youngest of ours nephews, threatened to push him, got aggressive, got in his face, and yelled at him, but attempted to push him, but didn't succeed. Whatever. And he was like, "Well, what'd your mom say?" So Ronan said my mom told him that she talked to his parents. And he was like, "Was there anybody else that was there that can back up what was said?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "There's a whole bunch of kids streaming past." I'm like, "Now, he hangs out with a group of boys. I don't know who his friends are, but you may want to stop and ask him." I said, "You can go corroborate. Go ahead. Please do." I told this kid I was going to call his parents. If that's considered a threat nowadays, the world has gotten to be an awfully weird place. And the guy was like, "Well, he said that you actually said something threatening to him." I said, "Look," I said, I don't talk to these kids. I don't associate with them." I said, "I tell my children to not associate with them. They are bullies." So they're not great kids. They're bullies. And the guy, ours brother standing in the background, I'm like, "No, your children are bullies. I've talked to you about this before, at least once." I said, "I know my husband's talked to you." He's going, "No, you didn't." "Yeah, we did. Your children are bullies. I actively keep my children away from them. There is a reason why." I said, "But no, I'm not going to stop and threaten a kid. I'm going to tell him I'll talk to your parents. I'm not going to talk to the kid. I'm going to talk to his parents. There's no sense in talking to him. It's not going to change anything. And he's not my kid." Well, the officer is like, "Okay, so nobody..." I said, "Look, you can talk to his friends. Maybe they can corroborate." Honestly, I don't even think they were paying attention either. It wasn't something I really thought about. I just told the kid, "I'm going to talk to your parents." It was a done deal for me. I said, "But if you'd like, you can bring him here. I'd really like to know what he thought I said." I didn't really think about it. I didn't think about it till later. Technically, what I asked him to do was bring the kid in front of me so I could intimidate him. At least from a police officer's point of view, that's how it could be seen. But I think the officer realized I'm frustrated. I'm like trying to corral two small children and a kitten. This whole entire thing is bullshit, and I'm being bothered over nothing for telling a kid, "I'm going to talk to your parents." So the officer's like, "Well, I don't think that'll be necessary." I'm like, "I certainly hope not." I said, "But then I don't understand why we're having this conversation in the first place." And he was like, "Well, I have to come and, and check." I'm like, "I understand that. I totally get that." I said, "I tell you what, here's the solution. Me and my kids will stay over here, and him and his kids can stay over there at the bus stop, like I've been trying to do for the last couple of years now. Like I said, I don't want my children associating with them. I don't want to associate with them. They're bullies, and they're mean, so I try to keep my kids away from them. I've been trying to do that for a couple of years. Now here it is, an actual incentive. We'll stay over here, they can stay over there. We'll be happy. Trust me." And the officer's like, well, that sounds like a viable solution, ma'am. I'm like, okay. First thing I noticed, the officer didn't want to lecture me about how you speak to kids, child abuse, yada, 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 yada. I'm pretty sure he took one look at the whole situation and realized this is horseshit. But I think I know what happened. The kid was actually afraid I was going to come up, knock on the door, and talk to his dad. I don't know where the guy lives. I know where his grandmother lives. I would have to go through his grandmother to get to his dad to even talk to him. I wasn't even going to waste my time. But I knew pretty much. I was like, I'll just catch him the next time I see him and go, hey, you may want to tell your kids to throttle back on it a bit. They're kind of aggressive and they need to knock it off. Basically what I've said to him before. But he decided, oh shit, she's actually going to come talk to my dad. I mouthed off at her in front of a couple of adults who don't speak English. But I mouthed off at her in front of a couple of adults and a whole bunch of my friends and a whole bunch of other kids. She could actually tell on me, and I could be in a lot of trouble. So he decided to jump the gun, tell his dad, she threatened me. Which, of course, Dad calls the cops. I'm pretty sure this isn't something he foresaw happening. He was just hoping that when I showed up, his dad would go, you threatened my kid, there'd be a whole huge argument, and then I would go away. I'm pretty sure that's what his intent was. Imagine his surprise when a police officer walks up and goes, what did she say? So he kind of jumped the gun to beat me to the punch of talking to his dad, which, like I said, I intended to do in a kind of offhand way. I'm not going to go out of my way to march down there and talk to your dad who isn't going to hear me anyway. I mean, seriously. So, then after the police officer left, I had to field things like, are you going to jail, Mom? Are we going to jail? For like the next 45 minutes from both my kids. Both of whom did not understand what was going on. Like I said, though, I don't understand what happened. I mean, I'm guessing nowadays you can't tell a kid, I guess I'll come talk to your parents, because it can get you into trouble. I told my eldest, this is a lesson to you. Make sure not to let your mouth run ahead of the rest of you, because it might result into something like this. So I gave Ronan the drill. I'm like, what do you do if they talk to you? Ignore them. Okay. What do you do if they're actually physically aggressive and they push you or try to hit you? Go talk to an adult. Are you going to say anything back? No. Are you going to push them back or try to hit them back? No. Okay, good boy. Just stick to that. Don't say something stupid, because Lord knows it'll get back to somebody and then I'll wind up with another cop on my doorstep, which is kind of the last thing I need right now. So, that's what cannot be put into text. It just... Number one, it's too long. Number two, it's just one of those things you go, what? And need clarification throughout the whole entire thing. Kid screamed at me. I told him I'd call his parents. His parents called the cops because supposedly I threatened the kid. And then the cop went away, and the parent went away, and now once again I have to be worried about somebody trying to break into my apartment or do destructive things to my vehicle. Yeah, so I'm back at that point with another asshat that I don't talk to. This is what kills me. We got rid of all of our toxic friends, right? All of them gone. We no longer talk to them. We just stopped talking to them. They went away. We were happy for them to go away. We don't talk to them. Crazy guy down the road that we would talk to on occasion started trying to hang out more the last couple of years. And then all of a sudden he went crazy on our doorstep and we called the cops on him. Now we have a guy whose brother we no longer hang out with. A guy we don't really associate with. I can't even remember his name, for God's sakes. It's that bad. I can't even remember his name. I'm terrible with names. I truly am. I am completely horrible with names, but that's how much we don't associate with him. I don't even know his name. Okay? And then he brings cops to my door. And once again, like with the crazy guy we had a couple of months ago, now I actually have to worry about my property. because he just might be the type to retaliate. He didn't get what he wanted from the police. Yeah, you can carry it from there. So I'm going to be paranoid again for the next couple of months, and wishing that these people that we don't associate with on a regular basis, if at all, whether or not we want to associate with them, will just go away. I'm kind of really hoping that my oldest goes to a different middle school than his youngest, so I don't have to deal with this ever again. That would be really nice. So here's a lesson to you. If you have a little kid talk to you, and talk to you in a manner which you don't appreciate, just ignore them. I mean, honestly, just ignore them. So I will go back to, hopefully, trying to catch up with you guys and with comments soon. I'm really hoping I can get some exercises in tomorrow. I'd really like to go running in the morning if I can, hopefully when nobody's there. That would be nice. And go ahead and just, get started on that. It'll probably be a non-stop thing from that point. So today was mostly a good day, except for an odd, maybe 5 minutes at the most, where my day went, what? For approximately 5 minutes. No worries, you guys don't have to watch this or even reply to it. I just had to put it on camera because it is just that absurd. It is just that bizarre. It's just one of those things where you have to put it on camera to be able to put it in context. It's just that weird. But I will be seeing you all via comments and replies. So I'll be talking to everybody soon, and hopefully I will have good things to report about me being good and exercising the way I'm supposed to. Keep your fingers crossed for me. And until I talk to you all again, be good to yourselves and be good to each other. And I love you. Bye.